In this tutorial, I'll show you how to make fixed obstacles like the ramp, and I'll show you how to make non-fixed obstacles like the cube. The starting point for this tutorial is the file made in my simple car simulation tutorial. You can make the file yourself or download it from my website. Add mesh cube, set the Y location to -10, press S to scale 2 and enter, and set the Y scale to 4. Press R to rotate, X for the X-axis, -20 and enter. Use the tip of the blue arrow to move the cube down so that the edge nearest to the car is just below the ground plane, about -0.6. Click the Physics button, click Object Physics and Collision Bounds, and click Fast Preview. The camera is being controlled, so I can zoom back with the mouse wheel. Notice the scene is disappearing. The camera clipping distance needs to be increased. Pressing the letter Q, nothing is controlled. Clicking on the car chassis and it is controlled, and pressing W, we can drive over the ramp. What if you want the end wall of the ramp not to be sloping but to be perpendicular to the ground plane? Change the view to quad view. Zoom in the front and right orthogonal views, and pan shift and middle mouse button. Go into edit mode and into edge select mode and select the edge, and use the tip of the green arrow to move the edge until the face is perpendicular. Going back into object mode, the mesh has changed, but the collision bounds haven't. With the bullet physics used with the Blender game engine, you would change the collision shape to convex hull, but the web version of the bullet physics doesn't yet support convex hull. One option is to leave the collision shape as box. The car will still go over the ramp, but it will collide with the invisible collision bounds, making a less realistic simulation. Another option is to make bounds around a shape using planes. Untick the physics for the ramp and click the eye icon to hide it. Add mesh plane. Set the Y location to -10, the X rotation to -20, set the X scale to 2, the Y scale to 4. Unhide the ramp and use the tips of the arrows to line the plane up with the ramp. Add mesh plane. Set the Y location to -10. Set the X rotation to 90. Press S to scale 2 and enter, and use the tips of the arrows to line up the plane with the ramp. Click Object Physics and Collision Bounds box for both planes. There is no need to render the planes. Click Do Not Render. The planes form an invisible barrier around the shape. Now when we click Fast Preview, now when we press Q, select the chassis, press W to go forwards, press S to go back, we get a proper collision with the end of the ramp. Add mesh cube, set the Y location to 10 and the Z location to 1. For fixed obstacles, set the physics type to static. For movable obstacles, set the physics type to rigid body. click Object Physics and Collision Bounds, and I'm going to set the mass to the same as the car, 500. Using Fast Preview, we get the collision can be made more dramatic by adding a material and setting the physics properties of the material. Click on Special Collision, open up the panel, and there you can set the elasticity of the material and the friction. To get a good bounce, you also need to change the elasticity of the material linked to the chassis. But if you click Special Collision, for some reason the whole car will not render. But checked or not, you can change the elasticity and it does affect collisions. Clicking Fast Preview. Now as they collide, the obstacle bounces off the car. That's the end of the tutorial. I'll put the start file and the finish file for you to download at my website. Click the link or the eye icon. If you'd like to subscribe, click the link or the stick man. If you'd like to sponsor my tutorials, click the link. Thanks for watching and goodbye.